What's going on, people? Your buddy Philko here, reporting live from your mama's house. Got the headset working. I'm ready to talk to you guys today on some real stuff. I was thinking of exactly what I should do with this channel, something that most guys would find useful. And so the first thing I asked myself is, what do the vast majority of my followers have, whether from my adult videos or from YouTube videos? Not from the English teaching videos, that's different, but from non English teaching videos. What do my followers generally have in common typically? I can lean back as far as I want because I got the headset. What do they typically have in common? Well, what I think most of my followers have in common is, besides just being male, is that a lot of these guys want a girl or girls in general. And maybe I can help with that by using some kind of just pure, brutal logic with you guys. Because if there's something I notice nowadays, it's that a lot of men are being babied by a lot of YouTubers, and they're used to that baby type of treatment, being treated like a child. And when someone is not treating them like a child and actually gives advice, not yelling, not screaming, not even being disrespectful or name calling, but when someone trying to give them that advice man to man, they don't know how to handle it and they feel as if they're being attacked. It doesn't mean you're being attacked, but to you, you think you're being attacked, but you're not. So today we're going to talk about something that's very important for men to understand, and that is rejection is not disrespect. It's not at all. Now, I'm not saying if you say hello to a woman, ask her how her day was, and she hits you in the face with a banana peel and say, "Go away, monkey," or something. That's a little different. But I'm saying the fact that a woman just says no or she just ignores you and keeps walking, none of that is disrespect. And the simple reason for that is, ooh, almost fell on camera. And the reason for that is she doesn't owe you anything. Let me explain in a simpler manner. When you go to Vegas, right? Let's say you go to Vegas or Atlantic City or wherever else they gamble in the States, right? Every time you put money in the machine, you don't know if you're going to win, right? There's certain machines where you can win, where your odds of winning are higher than other machines. Basically, there's some machines you go to where you actually know the odds of winning, like like what's that roulette? What is it, like 37 numbers on that, something like that? So every time you spin, if you bet on one number, you have a 1 in 37 chance of winning, or 36. It's different in America and Europe. But you basically have a 1 in 36 chance. You know this, right? And when you play other games, like some electronic games, I don't think there's a pure number to it. But if you play it enough, you will kind of develop a certain number in your mind, like about 1 in every 20 times I play, I win. Something in your mind. Because I don't think the numbers on those machines are as pure as the numbers when you're playing roulette. So it's very similar when you're approaching a woman. It's very similar. And it all depends on your presentation. So I play roulette. I don't know anything about the electronic machines because my wife loves the electronic machines, and she could go over there in 10 minutes, lose everything, or go over there in 10 minutes and get something. But when I play roulette, I notice one thing: the longer I play it, the more money I get from it. And it's not because I'm good at the game, it's all luck, but I do understand that the more you play it, the higher chance you have of getting money from it. So if your odds of playing whenever you roll is 1 in 37, if you play 37 times, you're likely to win at least one. But if you only play 5 times, you're not likely to win. Now, I'm not saying I play for a long time, I'm going to get money. Typically, when I play for a long time, I leave with or around the same amount of money I came in with. But basically, with roulette, the more you play, the more the odds are you're going home with the same money you came with. But with women, it's not like that. You, your presentation is basically how much you're playing, how much you're putting in. So if you're a guy who doesn't take good care of himself, he's not very attractive, you're not very social, you're awkward, you're nervous, you're not playing a lot of games in that machine. The more you play, the higher your odds are of having a win. So odds are you're not likely to win. So she's likely to reject. But if you're on the other side of things, let's say, oh, I could listen to music and do this. Hold up. I just realized that. Hold up. My bad. I'll be much happier if I could listen to music and do this. I just realized that. Hold up, hold up, hold up. I'm listening to the Infamous album. Perfect. Oh, yeah, this is perfect. All right. So if you're on the other side of that and you're attractive, you are confident, you're experienced, you dress well, you're her type, you speak her language, you're playing a lot of games when it comes to this approach, and you're way more likely to come out with a win. So, what men need to understand is that no one owes you anything. And I will say that every single video I make because it's important for you to understand. When a woman rejects you, it doesn't mean she's saying, F you, screw you, I hate you. That's not what it means. What it means is I don't want to deal with you. Let me just go on my own. It's very similar to if you're a straight man, a man comes up to you, whether even if he's the most attractive man in the world, if you're a straight 100% heterosexual man, the most attractive man in the world, who's a man, not like a lady boy even, but he's a man, he approaches you and say, hey, I want to take you out. You're a beautiful man. I like you. I want to be with you. You're going to say no. You might even say, "Oh, you're a great dude. You could get any girl you want," but you're still going to say no because you don't want to do that. And that's fine. You like what you like. But it's the same thing if an extremely unattractive woman were to approach you, most likely some street worker who doesn't take care of herself and she smells bad or whatever, and she's like, hey, would you like to come spend time with me? Damn. Would you like to come spend time with me? What are you going to say? You're likely to say no. And it doesn't mean F you. It may mean that in your head. It could. But at the end of the day, what matters is you don't want to deal with this person and you don't have to. You don't owe that person anything. It's the same thing when it's not something sexual. Like when you're chilling and somebody walks up to you, hey man, I need $1. You got $1? You don't owe that person anything. You don't have to give him $1. Why does this girl have to give you her number? She doesn't have to give you her number. So rejection is not a form of disrespect. Rejection is a part of the game. Rejection is one of the reasons a lot of guys don't do as well as they can because they're afraid of getting rejected. Do you know a strategy a lot of guys use to talk to a girl? And I had a homie in Russia who did this. This a black dude we used to hang out with. He's a cool dude, but he used to do this and it pissed me off. What he would do is he would be like, hey, so and so, do you like this girl? Cool. I'm going to go talk to her for you. Now, what he does is he approaches that girl, and in the end of it, he's approaching her for himself. But why does he do that? He gets to use you as the object, the reason for the approach. And if she says something like, I have a boyfriend, or I'm not interested in anybody, or anything that can include lessening his chances, he will go back to you and say, oh, sorry, dude, she's not into you. She has a boyfriend or whatever. But if she says something like, oh, I'm single, he'll say, oh, yeah, my friend likes you, but I think you're cute too. And then he'll keep going. More men are braver approaching when they're not approaching for themselves than they are for someone else because they're not really getting the rejection. I mean, you can, like, if you approach the girl and she just goes, ew, I don't want to talk to you. You could get that. But that's unlikely when you're just approaching to talk for someone else. Usually when you're approaching to talk to someone else, you're more you're more relaxed, you're less nervous cuz it's not even for you. So you're not really worried about whether she likes you or not. You could just say it's not for me, it's for my friend. That's what a lot of guys do. I'm gonna give an example of one of my biggest rejections. Why got to be intermission? Come on, I don't want to hear no intermission. All right, one of my biggest rejections, just so we can relate. Okay, should I? Okay, I'm gonna let you guys decide in the comments real quick. Should I tell of a rejection in which I never ever got the girl, or number one is rejection in which I never ever got the girl, or rejection but I later got the girl? So number one is rejection and I never ever got the girl, or big rejection, then I got the girl. I let you guys. All right, that's one for number two. One more time. Number one, the rejection story where I never got the girl, or the rejection story where I got the girl later. So one or two. Anyone else going to vote? Go ahead. I'll give it another 10 seconds. New York got a the press underneath my vest into the drama I built. All right. So let's get to story number two. Okay, no, story number two. The biggest rejection I got, but I got the girl later. All right. And this, I'm going to give the level of rejection. I would say out of 10, because the biggest rejection I ever had was I had the girl, then she rejected me later, and it made me depressed. That was level 10. This one was like an 8. It was up there, and it was in Russia, but it was an 8. So here's the story. So I went to the beach one day. I was with this black girl who I called my sister, and I was with some other people. I don't remember whoever else was there. It's not important. We were at the beach, and this is Russia. This is Russia. And I saw a girl with like titties and ass, short, thick, flat stomach, just crazy body, looked like she was Arabic or something. I'm like, holy crap. But I was scared to go talk to her. So I tell my little sister, I'm like, yo, go talk to this girl for me, blah, 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 blah. She spoke Russian too, whatever. So my little sister goes over there and I'm looking like the corner of my eye and something's not right. Like I can't tell. Like she's trying to communicate with this girl, but it's like something's wrong. So she comes back and she goes, "Ah, Phil, it's not worth it." And I was like, "What do you mean it's not worth it? Why?" She goes, "Because she's deaf." I'm like, "I don't give a fuck. Get back over there and get the goddamn number. Like, I don't give a damn. Listen, you crazy?" So she goes over there, does it again. I wave at the girl. She waves back. She gets the girl's phone number. So I contact her. We were in communication uh, for like 3 months, and we had maybe 3 dates within 3 months. I kind of fell for this girl quickly. I mean, quickly. And I'll tell you why. I mean, I do understand that. Now I'm in Latin America. I see girls like this every day. But Russian girls tend to be beautiful or whatever. But anyone who knows me knows my type is like my ex, like a Latina looking woman, like a Brazilian, basically. Like light brown eyes, dark hair, all that stuff, all the features, giggity giggity. That's typically that kills me the most, especially a young, cute face. Just kills me more than any blonde hair a girl can do. So she was like that. And there weren't many girls like that in Russia. So I think that's part of the reason I fell for her. I was dreaming about her. Like after our first date, I was dreaming about her. That's extremely uncommon with me. I typically dream of people years after dealing with them. Like it lags. My dreams lag. So if I start dating a girl in January and we break up in January, I might start dreaming about her in November. This girl didn't lag. It was as I was seeing her and talking to her, I was dreaming about her. So me thinking I'm dreaming about her, that means I'm in love with her. Like I didn't really understand it. I was even talking to my friends about it. So on a third date, we were on my roof where I brought all the girls. I always brought them on my roof because it was the center of the city. It was a very like romantic view. I go in for a kiss. She gives me a little tap kiss, but I try to go in for a real kiss. She goes, "No, I'm not ready for that with you. I like you as a friend." We all hate that shit. So I'm like, all right. But of course, I didn't get angry. I understand. You like who you like, and you don't like who you don't like. You can't help who you like or who you're attracted to. All those things, you can't help it. So I accepted it, and I stopped writing her after that. That was my rejection, and I wasn't depressed or anything. I didn't really go through any depression in Russia, for some reason. I did in the States, but in Russia, I never went through that. Um, yeah, I never went through that in Russia. So let's say 6 months go by. I'm with uh, a girl I hang out with, and if you guys are on my Patreon, you can check this model out. Just go to the collections in my Patreon. Go to and collections has all the models. Just put Pog, and when Pog for Red pops up, that's the girl I'm talking about now on the Patreon in the description. So I was with Pog for Red on this day, and Pog for Red is very attractive, but in a different way. She's tall, redhead, green eyes, big butt, thin but just big. You can see her booty on the Patreon. So we're walking, we're having a good time, and at this moment, like summer just started, so people just started coming out again, and I haven't seen Paul for Red in maybe a month or two. So I was happy to see her. We're hanging out. She's much younger than me. She got all this energy, whatever. So as we're walking, all I remember seeing from a distance is a girl with just a crazy body. I mean, crazy, just up here and hit. I mean, crazy. And she's walking this way. So I put my head down. I'm like, what am I going to do? Okay, when she gets close to me, I'm going to look up at her and give a smile. Because she wasn't with a guy, she was with another girl. So as we're about to pass each other, I look up, I make eye contact. It's the deaf chick. And she already noticed me. She's already like smiling at me as I'm walking past. And to this day, I think my face was like just pure shock. I didn't expect to see her. And I was just and I was just beside myself in just pure amazement and pure shock. I was surprised. And for the rest of the day, I was sitting there and thought, like, damn, I can't believe I lost this opportunity to be with this girl. I lost this opportunity. It was really bugging me. Like, I wasn't on no depressing shit. 'Cause when I'm depressed, I can't eat. Like, that's how I know I'm depressed. That happened to me twice. Twice? Three times. I know when I'm depressed. But I was eating and working out. Everything was fine. But, dude, it was bothering me. And this is before business, because usually when I was chasing women, like within the last 5 years, whatever, it's for business reasons. But I just wanted time with her. So that night, I could not sleep. So I said, you know what? Screw this. I woke up because I blocked her everywhere and deleted all her information so I wouldn't communicate with her anymore. But I went around crap, whatever, and I found her email and I wrote her an email. She wrote me back and we started communicating again. Now we decide to have our fourth date. And this is after me not seeing her for 7 months. And to make it worse, she loves telling me about her sexual experiences. So we get to my place, we're drinking, we're hanging out. Same thing as everything else. I didn't expect of all the other dates, I didn't expect anything. I didn't expect anything. So I don't know what happened this time. I really don't know. But for some reason, this time we go upstairs where my because I had two floors. Upstairs was where my computer and stuff was. I wanted to show her some stuff, and for some reason, because all right, how do I gotta explain? My upstairs room, my old apartment, it was a very it was a romantic looking room. Period. So when we got up there, I'm sitting on the chair near the computer, expecting to show her something, and she's standing near the bed, and I'm like, "Are you gonna watch this or what?" She just flopped her butt down on the bed like really hard. Boom. like real hard, like making a statement. Remember, this girl can't. She doesn't talk either because she's deaf and she doesn't know what she sounds like. She doesn't talk, but she just sits on the bed hard, and then just looks at me, and it was on. But the most interesting thing happened after that. I enjoyed my time with her. Everything was great. But the most interesting thing happened after that. I didn't want to see her again. I didn't want to see. One time, I didn't want to see her again, and I end up leaving Russia 3 months after that. She would write me weekly. Even after I left, she would write me, and I would ignore her. And what's crazy is, she had she was on TV because I just remember seeing her on TV when I was with my ex, and I was like, "That's the girl I was with." Blah blah blah. Because I told her about it, but she was doing the hand things for deaf people, whatever. But yeah, that was the story. But I guess what anyone can learn from this is there is still a possibility long term if you get a no. You just got to pick a healthy amount of time to give between communications so you don't look like a creep. So if you ask a girl out on Friday, she says no. You try again on Saturday, she says no. You're kind of creepy. But if you ask January 15th, she says no. Then you ask March 21st, that may not be so creepy. But then again, it's a gamble. It depends on you and the value she sees in you. That's something a lot of guys miss. They just see girls who say no as stuck up or as bitches, or they watch these stupid YouTube videos and try to insult women like, usually it's fake, but people are dumb. Like a guy will be sitting on a cheap car and he'll say, "Hey, ma'am, I'd like to get to know you." She goes, "No." He goes, "Okay." Then he gets into the expensive car. And she's like, "Oh, I want to talk. I want." She's like, "I want to talk now. I want to talk now." And guys are like, "Oh, what a gold digger." Shut up. Any guy who thinks I don't even want to be mean, but those kind of things are so small-minded and dumb of men. That shows how weak and how much testosterone they're missing. I swear to God, it's the weakest kind of shit to complain about. In any of these experiments, when a man gets rejected, when he has a crappy car or something, why is that a problem? That's similar to us rejecting a girl who's not attractive at all. It's not a problem. Oh, let's put it this way. And I forgot who this was, but this is definitely a good one. Usually guys don't have gold. That's, well, I don't know about that because you got to watch the Sebastian Telfair interview when he talks about how all the NBA guys get robbed by gold diggers, even though it's their own faults, the NBA guys. But we'll get to that. Um, I forgot who it was. There's something I was watching on Netflix. I was watching with my wife actually. Basically, it was a really fat girl in high school who was fat and ugly. And then she lost all the weight. And by the time she got like 30, 35, sexy as hell. Like as hell. Now, if when she was fat and young in high school would say to a guy, "Hey, I like you," he goes, "I'm sorry, you're not my type." 15 years later, he sees her and she's really sexy now. And he goes, "Oh, I'd like to take you out." "Oh, you're just into me now because I'm beautiful. You just like me because I'm." Of course. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It doesn't make you a gold digger, it doesn't make you a titty digger. People have different criteria in order to want to be with people. And another thing a lot of guys say on this topic when it comes to rejection. Let's say, for example, they'll be like, a girl will say on a TV show, I only date guys who are 6 feet and taller, right? But her ex-husband was 5'10, and they say you're lying. She's not necessarily lying. There's certain criteria people have to meet. And sometimes when they exceed in certain categories, they can overlook the other categories. For example, there's some guys who would date a really ugly girl in the face because she got either really crazy up here or a real crazy booty. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the same thing. Same thing. So you could say, I wouldn't date an ugly girl. And I believe you. But if you met a multi-million-dollar worth, ugly, big titty, big ass, all natural, small waist, you're not going to date her because she ugly? Cut it out. You see, not everyone's going to meet every single criteria, but sometimes they exceed in certain categories when it comes to this criteria that you can overlook the other ones. Like Kevin Hart, he's 5'2". If he wasn't a multimillionaire, a lot of girls would be like, "You're too short." And there's probably girls now when he's rich and famous who still wouldn't be with him because he's too short. You feel me? All right, let me get to the comments. Women have a preconceived. Wait, let me see. Did I see no guys? Okay. Women have a preconceived story in their mind of what they feel they're looking for. It's generated through a combination of her life experience. Genetics and culture is nothing to do with you. Yeah, that's fine. Makes a lot of sense. But all I'm basically trying to say is you shouldn't feel a girl is a liar or a guy is a liar or anyone's a liar because they're dating someone who's not necessarily who doesn't fit all their categories. It happens because they can exceed in other categories that make where they don't exceed or they don't even meet the requirements not so important. And that's how everyone is with anything you get. You know what I mean? With anything you get, with anything you do, even clothes. It may not be the best looking clothes, but it's really affordable. Screw it. I'll get it because it's cheap and it matches whatever. We all do that. What would you do if you were a 25-year-old with no relationship experience? Okay, let's start here. I'm gonna get my Kevin Samuels on. I'm gonna get to every comment because I mess with you guys. You're here. You're supporting me. So I'm gonna get to everything. So he said, "What would you do if you were a 25-year-old with no relationship experience?" It depends on what kind of 25-year-old you are. How tall are you? Are you in shape? Do you have money? Are you studying? Do you have a job? All those things depend on your current situation. So it would be different if you were 45 or 35, but at 25, I need to know those things about you or about myself in that age to know what I would do, or at least what the smart thing is to do. Perfection doesn't exist. No, of course not. I definitely have a problem with comparing myself to other guys. I just assume if a girl would date another guy who's the complete opposite of me, that she wouldn't be into me. You know, that happened to me a lot in Russia actually with my own friends. Like, I would be hanging out with my friends and stuff, and like if I start dating a girl who I don't really like, I would say things like, "Oh, okay, I'm done with that girl. You guys can date her." They would always kind of ignore me when I said things like that. And then one day I was like, "Yo, why do y'all just play me when I say?" I mean, they all done it. That's like when it's a girl they really, really like. But if it's just some whatever girl, they just don't even bother. I'm like, why y'all act like that? Y'all always do that with girls. Why don't y'all do that with me? And they're like, because you're black. If they're into you, they're into black guy stuff. So we're not going to waste our time. But that could be true, but not always. You know what I mean? So it's still worth going for it. But I see where you're coming from. And it does make logical sense to even think that way. You know, if I meet a girl and her ex was 6'8", I'm 5'8". So I'm gonna be like, oh, this probably won't work out for you. I don't, You know what I mean? If her ex was a multimillionaire, I'm like, damn, you're gonna have to go find you someone else because I can't compete. That's how I would feel. Doesn't mean it's necessarily true. That's how I would feel. You know. So that's exactly one of the reasons a lot of guys are afraid of rejection is because if you know the girl, her history, and her ex is nothing like you, you're probably going to feel you're going to get rejected, so you're less likely to try anything. Which I can't blame you on that one. It is a logical thing to think, but at the end of the day, you miss all the shots you don't take, and a rejection is a rejection, but it may not last forever. You know that time. How do I explain that time? Because it depends on your relationship. Like if you're friends, like how many times should you ask your friend out before it becomes creepy? And it also depends on the girl too. You know what I mean? There's some guys who call girls who rejected them like every day to try to get another chance. You're a creep. She might even call the police in some cases, or her brother or whatever. Some girls would think you're a creep depending on who you are if you're calling once a week. But I don't think most girls will find you a creep if you call once a month or once every 6 weeks. There's no pure science to it. That's the thing. When it comes to a lot of these things like rejection of women, not everything is a pure science. It's not a pure science. It varies from the man involved, the woman involved. It varies. It's not a pure science. My biggest problem is lifestyle setup. Like no woman wants to date a guy in his 20s who lives at. Listen, that could be true. That could be true. But let me tell you something. And I'm 40 and most of my friends are 40. I'm not going to mention any names. I haven't been to America in a while. All right? I don't really know what's normal. I'm dead ass. I haven't been to America in a minute. Out of my closest friends, let's say, out of the five closest friends I have that I mess with, right? We're all basically 40 years old. Two still live with a parent or family member under their roof, and they're 40. And I seldom ever hear about them wanting to leave or move out. And I don't know if that's normal now. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if that's normal. My other three friends live with women and they pay the bills. None of them are homeowners, but they pay the bills, like in an apartment or something. So I don't think I don't know. I'm out the loop on that. But in my opinion, and you should be out the house by the time you're 26. Why? Because they can claim you on they can claim you on their taxes until you're 26 years old. So they could be responsible for you legally until you're 26. So I think once you're 26, you should be out of there. That's just my opinion. But I don't. You're missing out on life. Look, dude, I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful to my friends. I just don't know what the norm is. Me, I moved out of my dad's house by way of moving into my grandmother's place when she was in a hospital, which isn't really the same. She was in an old folks' home. It doesn't really count, but I was living on my own and paying the bills. I was 26, and then I left to Russia at 29. So yeah, 26 is perfect age. I was gone at 26. I moved out, but I didn't really have my own place. I was paying for myself till I was like 31. I thought I was late, but I'm just saying. So it's not that I'm trying to pick on my friends or nothing. It's just I don't really know what's the normal over there anymore. Because shit, 20, if being 20 and living with your parents is looked down on out there by women, I gotta have a talk with my homies. I gotta have a talk because I'm like, yo, y'all might have to, if y'all trying to get a girl, y'all gonna have to not only take care of yourself, you're gonna have to get your own crib. Cause I don't know. I'm just being dead ass. You're missing out on life. I don't know if you mean I'm missing out on life or like my friends. I don't know what you mean. 40 years old living with your mama is I guess so. I guess so. Like, no, I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying this because I'm trying to understand and so I give feedback better. I have one friend who lives with his mother. The other friend lives with his older sister. But they're both my age. They're both a little older, but we're all basically 40. And I don't bring it up much because they don't seem to care. I just think it's like normal. Haven't lived in America for 13 years. You know what I mean? So, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because when he said I'm 20 and I live with my parents, I'm thinking so because I'm trying to learn. Feel me? So, um, but other than that, back to the topic. And if you are you still approaching these days for strictly dating? Hell no. Well, here's one rule I'm going to have in these lives. I'm not going to talk about business here. That's only on my Patreon. I do have a weekly live. If you join my Patreon at the highest tier, you'll become a team member of my company for a month, just for a month, which means you get to direct some of the girls I work with, like Julia Cool, Marion Moon, Natasha Twerk, and you get to learn the ins and out of the business from me. And if you have anything on Twitter or something, I can advertise for you, and we'll have a live chat every Saturday, just like that. And you'll be a part of the Telegram group. You can write me anytime. This will be for a month. You're right. I think most men feel a sense of shame whenever they live at home. Something about having your own domain. Like, I mean, if you want to know my point of view on it, like, I think it's crazy, absolutely crazy, as a man to want to live under anyone else's roof At 30. That's just me. I think it's crazy. But I also think it's crazy to allow yourself to be overweight. I was overweight when I was making lives in Panama a year and a half ago. I was overweight. I was overweight. You guys saw it. I went to the doctor. He said you're overweight. I destroyed that. I'm not overweight anymore. Like I don't see how anyone can be comfortable overweight as a man, comfortable living under someone else's roof. I don't know. That's just not me. And I think most of those people just gave up. Like they don't expect to get a woman or something, so they go the easy route because they don't expect anything better to come of their lives. So I mean, it's understandable. I regret not putting myself out there enough. I literally just worked through college, didn't experience any dating life. Um, damn. I can tell you one thing though. If you worked hard, you got your degree, and you learned a lot, you should be financially stable for the rest of your life. Yeah, that's dusty behavior, dude. I'm really not trying to insult people because, like I said, I got some homies in this kind of situation. Maybe I should talk to them about it. But you want to know something? All right, let me get to this real quick. You know, you ever watch? Let's say you ever watch like a video or a documentary or Netflix or something, and it's like this guy killed himself because his life was terrible or blah blah blah. You know what a lot of people say when they hear things like that? Oh, where were his friends? His friends weren't listening to him. His friends weren't there for him. Whatever. Now, if someone talks to one of my homies, they're like, "Oh, you 40? You live at home with your parents? Like, what kind of friends you got? They don't tell you nothing." Blah blah blah. Sometimes I think, like, am I being that friend? And get this, I am not just the one. I am not just the type of friend that's like, hey, you should do this, you should do that. I'm always the first friend. If I fuck with you heavy, I'm like, yo, you could do this, you could do that. Let me invest in it. Let me help you out to get you there. Always. I'm like, yo, who got a business idea? I'm down to invest in it. I could put up 10 G's to get us all started. We all get money. Every time. No close friend of mine can deny that. I always put money into any ideas, or I offer to put money into any ideas I give them to better themselves. Every time. And nobody close to me can say that's not true. So nobody can ever tell me as a friend that I didn't try to get my friends to a better level. Nobody. Just what? 3 weeks ago, my friend Jose, I was telling him about clips for sale because I'm on clips for sale. And I'm like, yo, they got doll videos. I sent him $300. Like, yo, boom, go buy a new doll. See what you can do on clips for sale. $300. Just sent it to him that moment. And he bought a new one. Like, that's the kind of friend I am. When I mess with you and I want to help you get better or achieve your goals, I'm going to put in to your goals. I'm going to put in pause. Like I'm straight up going to offer, and I'm just going to give it to you. I already paused it. You know what I mean? So I feel blameless as a friend. Like no way, no fucking way, no fucking way. Like no way I could be seen as like someone who wasn't there or someone who just didn't care. But thank you guys for letting me know because I just didn't know if that was normal. Because one thing I do understand is nowadays it's much less common to own a home. I get that, but that doesn't mean you can't even rent an apartment. And there's Airbnb. I don't know. I'm just saying. Are you the most financially successful out of your friend? Yeah. Well, out of my close friends, yes, easily, yes. But out of my business friends, I would say we're all like kind of on and off. Like one point I'm here, next point my other friend, next point like we all help each other. Like they're different. They don't live with nobody. They all they got their own stuff or whatever. But I think my the difference between my two groups of friends, there's the EHC group and there's the no job gang group. The EHC group are my high school friends. They live for more pleasure and fun. On the no job gang side, none of us, we don't have jobs or whatever. We're more about business first, pleasure later. And the difference I see is on the no job gang side, we're way more financially stable and more healthy on average. And on the other side, there's not much difference between their lifestyle and a 20-year-old's lifestyle. for the most part. Because like I said, there's five of them. I have five close friends basically from that I went to high school with. Five. Like I'm not going to mention them and call people out, but there's five on one hand. So I would say out of all of them, two of them kind of live like 20-year-olds. Not trying to be rude, but just being real. And the other three are involved with someone, but one of those three doesn't like his life and he gave up already. He thinks he's a loser. Uh, the other one, I don't know. He's doing all right, I guess. And the last one, the biggest one, I think he's like the ideal man when it comes to being a family man. Like, no, he's an overweight dude and all that, but I'm saying he has a beautiful family. He chose a great wife. He got a stable life, makes decent money. His wife makes more money than him. And he was like, "Oh, if something happens to her, I'm getting paid," kind of thing, making jokes because we were talking about how we were watching, we were talking about something on Netflix, like the wife killed the husband, and then she got a lot of money from the will. He was like, "If something happens to her, I get money," not implicating anything, but she makes more than him. She's worth more than him, and he did things right. And I was like, "Man, you did things." I tell him that at least once every 2 months. I'm like, "Bro, you did things right. You got married to a girl you're with for a long time. She's smart, caring. You got beautiful children. You stick with your wife no matter what for the children, and you're doing your thing. Yeah. Out of my close friends, he's the one. So yeah, shout out to him. He knows who he is. I'm trying not to say names, but he knows who he is. Let me see something real quick. I'm gonna go to my. I want to go to my. Let me see. What's going on? My phone is. Okay, there we go. Let me see. Let me ask. Hold on. Did you get? Let me see. I'm gonna ask my homie. All right. Let me see. Renting an apartment is not that difficult. I wouldn't think so. I've rented apartments in how many countries? Shit. Let's go through the list. All the countries I've been to and rented apartments. Oh, I'm not doing that. We're gonna be here forever. It's easier for me to, except for Africa. I haven't been to Africa yet. It's actually easier for me to mention the countries I haven't rented apartments in. Been all over Asia, all over South America, a lot of Europe, all over Russia. Don't get me started. Russia, Ukraine, Poland. Damn, I don't know. Damn. Yeah, I've been to a lot of the world, man. And I showed my wife a lot of the world too. She's been to a lot. In the last 3 years, she's been to maybe 15 countries, like maybe like 35 cities. Like we don't play no games. We're always traveling. Business class mostly. After experiencing women from different cultures, are you even attracted to American? I haven't been to America in so long, so I can't answer. That's your opinion. Besides, the woman doesn't have to know if a man lives with his parents. I mean, being realistic, I think he's right, dude. I think Barber's right. I'm not sure what he said. I mean, I think why digest is right. Let me see what you're replying to. I regret. Like, if you live with your parents, it's definitely going to be points off for the average woman. I'm not saying it's a deal breaker, but of course, that's going to be points off for the average woman. It's like having a minimum wage job. It's going to be points off. Not saying it's a deal breaker, but it is points off. Rejection is not disrespectful for the most part. It isn't. However, it depends on the type of rejection. Um, I don't really care about the type of rejection. As long as she doesn't put her hand on you or assault you, deal with it because you started it. Just deal with it. She goes, "Ew, you're ugly." Deal with it. Walk away. Deal with it. That's how I feel. Because she. My thing is always don't start no shit. Won't be no shit. There's no way you could be nice to a person at random that you don't know. So a lot of guys have the misunderstanding that if I give this woman a compliment, that's being nice. You don't know how she takes that compliment. You don't know her. It's a gamble. It's nice to you. Doesn't mean it's nice to her. Like a lot of dudes can't comprehend that. You know what I mean? Like, if a guy walks up to you and say you have a nice ass, how are you going to feel? Most of you would be offended. It depends on the person. Even if a girl who's not attractive, walked up to you and say, uh, "Oh, you got some cute ears," you'd be like, All right, look, everyone's different. You don't know how this girl's going to respond to you approaching her. Because, like it or not, when you approach someone, you're gambling. Because you're the one starting shit. She could be having a bad day. She might not want to talk to you. That's why it's best for you to be as polite as possible and deal with whatever sense of rejection you get. But if you could leave with the number, that's great because you could try again another day. I mean, it's really. I mean, it's not good to hear. It's not comfortable to hear what I'm saying. I get it. I get it. But it's true. No one has to like you and no one has to accept you. I saw another YouTuber. He made a video saying what he say? He said he said he was complaining about how women would give their number and then they ignore you. Yeah, a lot of women give their phone numbers to guys that ignore them because are afraid of what would happen if they don't give the phone number and they want to get rid of you for the moment. So they give the number, then block you and go on with their lives or block you from Instagram. They don't want to deal with you. A lot of guys are too annoying. They don't take a simple no. It's different. It's very different. I feel like most guys aren't even approaching. It really does seem like the majority of guys have checked out the dating market completely. Why am I leaning forward when I could be looking on my phone? That could be. Nah, but some of these women have agendas. Oh, here we go. Okay, can you please explain by what you mean by some of these women have agendas? Now remember, this is a woman you are approaching. So I would love to know her agenda when you are approaching her. You're initiating with her. So I would love to know how she can have an agenda when you are approaching her. So I'm definitely going to read that response because I'm very, very. And sometimes I want to go live. Like if any of you become, ooh, what is this? Oh, they answered. The lawyer answered me. However, you can incorporate your own company by then. Company will need to be incorporated with nominee directors. You cannot be on the board. By the way, the commercial license issue. Wow. I'm gonna read this later. Yes, yes. Sorry, I'm reading something important and waiting for his response. However, you can incorporate your own company. Be incorporated with nominee directors. Hold a valid commercial license. Got it. All right. Uh, Okay, this is crazy. All right. So moving on. Okay, so he said, he said, oh, what? I'm still waiting for your reply. I would love to know that some stick around for financial reasons or to get something from you. Okay, so I guess you mean as in a girl approaches you, she's not really into you, but she will pretend like she's into you to get things like gifts and maybe free meals and stuff. That could happen. But that's a part of the gamble. That's a part of the gamble. How much is this girl willing to spend time with you? How much are you willing to spend or what are you willing to do to have a chance with this girl? Are you willing to take her out on 10 dates? Are you willing to buy dinner every time? As a man, you got to know your limitations that whether it's time, money, effort, whatever. You have to know your spending limitations. Now, let me not say spend. You have to know how big of a gamble this is for you. What are you willing to put in on this gamble? This girl is a 10. Am I willing to spend $200 a dinner every Friday for the next 4 weeks. Am I willing to do that? No, I'm gonna do 3 weeks. And every time I meet her, I'm gonna take advantage of the time I have and try to pitch my game to see if I can get to the next level. If she's worth that $600 of $200 a dinner every Friday, 3 Fridays in a row, go for it. But once you reach that limit, whether it's time limit, money limit, or whatever limit that you preset for yourself, leave it alone or try again later. You got to know your limits that you're willing to put into this girl to have a chance because every time you're with her, that's your opportunity to pitch, to be seen as something more. No matter how unlikely it is, you will have no more of a chance to be with a girl than the time you have next to her. Whether it's to make it happen at that moment, to make yourself look better, to make her rely on you more, make her feel more comfortable with you. That face to face meeting, the more face to face meetings you have, the more time you have to pitch and try to build something. You got to understand that. But you got to set your limits from the start. What are your advice? What is your advice to keep safe on the streets and in Airbnbs when in South America? I don't know. I would say Airbnb, they usually don't rent in bad places, so I don't think you really got to worry about that. So I don't know. I can't really say. But I think I'm going to save that for the Patreon stuff because that goes to my business stuff. Damn, how long has this live been going? Let me see. Oh, 51 minutes, not bad. Let me see. Okay. Uh-huh. Service details, including taxes for payment. Um, okay. Damn, this is damn. Yeah, it's gonna cost me a pretty penny, you guys. Service detail. Taxes for dependent. Yeah. All right. Service detail. Um, 6, 7. It's gonna be a pretty penny right here. What is your advice to keep safe on the streets? Oh, I read that one. So I guess that's really it, guys. If no one has anything to add, I will go. But if you guys got anything to add, I'll give you a minute or two to put it in there. Pause, and then I'm off to play some Overwatch, I guess, before I go out walking later with the wife, looking at new stuff. Let's see, good for you. You have a talent with this. Uh, there's a big drop off in looks when in South America compared to Russia facially. Oh yes, and what they do to their eyebrows in South America, my God, why do they keep getting their eyebrows like that? Anyway, but the curves are. Oh yes, I think the curves are best in most parts of sub-Saharan Africa is absolutely ridiculous. But other than that, in the Middle East and in South America is very nice too. Other places where having money as a man really does elevate you to the top in terms of dating. What is every place on earth? Hold on. Are there places where having money as a man really does elevate you to the top in terms of dating? Every place on earth? Like, what kind of question is that? You should be asking, is there a place where it doesn't elevate you to the top? Maybe place that have arranged marriages, because then you ain't even got a choice. But yeah, I don't understand that question. Somebody help me with that question. That's a crazy question. Damn. I'm listening to Mob Deep's album. I love this album. The Infamous. There's no songs that I skip on the Infamous album, man. Not one. Mhm. You're looking for the Philippines. Oh yeah, having money in the Philippines. Anywhere is good, but Philippines is very very cheap. Man, It's a little depressing too. I'll get to that in another video, but yeah, Philippines. Yeah, you'll be a millionaire with like $5,000 in your bank account. Vietnam too, but they're very strict in Vietnam. It's not that open and stuff as like other Asian countries with women. Yeah, it's not that open. Thailand, not that cheap, but very open, very open. Same with Cambodia, open too. It's open and cheap. Cambodia. Malaysia a little different, a little more money there. Bali, Indonesia. Yo, I've been every fucking where. It's insane. My passport. When I go to countries, they look at my passport. That shit is just crazy. I get to say where money everywhere. Money's more important than looks. Everywhere, everywhere. You just gotta have a good amount of it. A really good amount of it everywhere. You come on. Or am I naive? Okay. Remember this. Should base stuff more often in Thailand. Undefeated. I'm gonna leave Thailand alone. I'll get to that on Patreon. Got it. I see the information. Say, yeah. What's the total? All right, guys. That's really it. Answered all your questions and stuff. It was fun. I'm gonna try to do this way more often, people. I'm out. Later.